I want you to understand that your purpose is so much bigger than you can ever comprehend. It's so much bigger than the things that you've been through, than the bad habits that you may have still, than the things that you're trying to get rid of that you still hold on to. It's bigger than your negative thoughts. It's bigger than who you think you are. It's bigger than what you've done before. Your purpose is so much bigger than the life that you have already lived. And you just cannot know yet what it holds, because you have not even tapped into the possibility of you exploding your potential. You haven't tapped into that possibility yet because you're so hung up on thinking of all the things that you're doing wrong that you don't understand what it is that you're doing right. So I want you to start paying attention to the things that you're doing right so that you can maximize those. You know what I mean? And like really go full force with that. That's what you need to hear. That's what you need to know. You need to understand. You need to understand that you are so much more capable than what you've been giving yourself credit for. And you need to start giving yourself some credit. Because you've done it. You've done so much. So who is going to give you the credit if it's not you? Who's going to, sit you down and be like, hey, you did a good job? No one is going to do that. You have to be on your own side. You have to literally, because you live with yourself, you have to be your own best friend, and you have to be talking to yourself as if you are talking to a client or a best friend or a child. Did you guys know that we actually parent ourselves? Yeah, we're born with parents, but then at some point in our lives, we have to take the decision to reparent ourselves from all the things that we have been bombarded with since a young age. And when you do this, this is like the coming to God moment, or this is like what people who change their lives go through, because they realize that, oh my God, like I am so deserving. I'm so deserving of what I want. I'm so deserving of tapping into what it is I can do. I'm so deserving of exploring my own mind. I'm so deserving of enhancing my own intelligence through repetition and through adopting habits that actually reflect who I am on a soul level, right? Not my negative thoughts. I don't want to adopt habits that reflect my negative thoughts, which most people do because they think that their negative thoughts are something to pay attention to. So they give it power, they give it worthiness, they give it attention. And, even if you do have things that you're struggling with, right? Because we all do. Like, let's say that you are addicted to making yourself feel better because you struggle with negative thinking, right? Let's say you're addicted to numbing yourself because you want to forget something that happened that was difficult. It could be anything. We are all governed by our vices. But the second that we start berating ourselves for being governed by our vices, right? And the second that we actually start to yell at ourselves for, anything that we do, it could be anything. Like, oh, why did you do that? Like, you shouldn't have done that. Or having regrets, right? Most people have regrets. This is where we mess up, because it's like you're digging a hole and then you're digging a hole even deeper. So instead of doing that, right, what we can do is accept our negative thoughts, accept what we're dealing with, accept that we're struggling with something. It could be an addiction to anything. Accept these things. And then when we accept them, we actually get on our own side and we are conscious each time we are doing something that may not be for our highest good. I'll give you a personal example because I want to make this personal. I used to have an addiction to solitude. I used to have an addiction to wanting to be alone. It was so necessary for me. I loved it so much. Like, I loved to just swim in my own mind and create and sing even and film. Like, I enjoy being alone so much. And then I realized towards the end of 2024 that needed to change, because in order for me to actually like get out into the world and collaborate with people, or for people to actually know me, which will help further my mission, in order for my mission to happen, I need to put myself out there. So that was something that I realized towards the end of last year, and I started to make it a point to put myself out there more. Not online. I'm very good at that. I'm not talking about online. I'm talking about with people in interpersonal relationships, because who I am is somebody that is very good at going within and then creating. But I needed to switch that up and be the opposite, and actually, because I was so addicted to solitude, not just in 2024, but in 2023, in 2022, like I've just been on this flow of loving to be alone. And I became so addicted to it. And because I was addicted to it, I shut myself off from love and from people and from community and from, because I was afraid. I was afraid of putting myself out there. I still had some unhealed stuff within me that I thought needed time to be worked through and that I was working through. But in actuality, I could have just in a day changed my whole life. Like, this is something I failed to realize. And it's not necessarily that I wanted my life to completely change and that, like, oh, I was doing something wrong in being solitary. It's just that, you know, grace and favor from other people is something that is important. And like, I didn't realize that because I was so independent. I was like so hell-bent on staying independent, and I just, it was a part of me. It was very hard for me to explain how I felt to people. I just didn't do that at all. Like, I was like, all right, what's most convenient and efficient? Like, what can solve the problem? Maybe not having a problem. And maybe it's just, you know, me taking control of what I need to do and doing it, and doing what I needed to do and wanted to do, right? And so my perspective was, it shifted from me being a very outgoing person to me being very introverted, because I was building a business too. So, you know, I was like very happy being introverted. So I did too much of that though, too much of that, right? And so now at the end of 2024, I realized, hey, Seema, you need to put yourself out there more. And growth happens when we challenge ourselves. Growth happens when we actually do the hard thing and the scary thing. And for me, the hard and scary thing, you know, is wasting time and just, you know, being really like in other people's like problems, which I didn't want to do at all. So that's why I went, you know, within very much. So cheers. Anyway, so growth happens when we expand. Growth happens when we push our boundaries. I should use my camera. I have a camera that I just don't use. And so I want you to challenge yourself and see what is hard for you to do, and I want you to do it, because that's the only way that you can change your life. Like, your life is going to continue to be the same way that it always has been, unless you actually take initiative and you go, hey, you want to know what, guys, I need to stretch. Like, actually, I need to like go stretch. I'm a very tall person, and this is a very like small situation. I need a lot of room, you know what I mean? All right, let's get back to the video. I got so distracted. I need to get back to the video. Should I do bloopers? I need to stretch my legs. Okay. So does that make sense to you guys? So I want you to start getting on your own side, and I want you to start feeling comfortable enough with yourself to get on your own side. You're the only one who can change your life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this message. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more. This message was brought to you by Pete's Coffee. I barely made a dent and I drank so much. I don't know what's going on. It's like a glitch in the Matrix or something. It's like a, what is it? Retcon. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I love you. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.